well. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. If you're watching me on the replay, thank you so much for joining us. I super appreciate you. My name is Lola. I'm a confidence and entrepreneur coach. I help women boost their confidence, and I help entrepreneurs turn their ideas into money-making products and help aspiring authors to write and self-publish their books. This is another episode of the Periscope Circle of Influence. Hi, Tatiana. Thanks for coming over here. Thank you so much for joining us again. You are welcome to the Periscope Circle of Influence. We scope every Tuesday, every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. GMT. And today we're continuing the conversation from Tuesday about unhealthy habits that affect entrepreneurship. So I'm just going to do a quick recap of what I mentioned on Tuesday, and then I'll go right into the 5 that I have for you today. So the first thing that I said is unhealthy that we do as entrepreneurs is that we overextend ourselves. So we put too much on our plates and we end up having so much to do with so little time, and then we end up being stressed out. Number 2, I said that we develop poor eating habits because we tend to push eating our food till later in the day. So for me, for example, I would usually say just one more thing, and then I'll eat, one more thing, and then I'll eat. And then 5 things later, I'm still saying one more thing. And before you know it, I've spent the whole day working and not eating. And I realized that I was starting to lose weight, and people would say, oh, what's going on? You're losing weight. And it wasn't because I didn't have an appetite or that I didn't have, enough food around or whatever. It was just because I kept pushing it over to get things done. So poor eating habits, that's something else that we do as entrepreneurs. And the thing is, we don't realize that it affects our business productivity, right? Because when you're not eating right, then it starts to affect you. Hi, thanks for coming in. Hi, Bukola, thanks for coming in. So it affects your productivity as well. And that's one thing that we don't realize, but it's something that we often do as entrepreneurs. The third thing that I mentioned on Tuesday was that we try to take advantage of everything and anything that comes our way, right? There's a free webinar, you're there. There's a free course, you're there. There's this, you're there. There's that, you're there. And then we end up packing our calendars with so many things. And because we have a fear of missing out on opportunities, right? We always feel like we're missing out on something. So we want to do everything. Or sometimes people ask you, yes, that's right. Sometimes people ask you to do stuff. Oh, can you come to my event? Or can you read my book? Or can you do a review? Or can you do this? And sometimes you know that you can accommodate it, but you say yes because you're people pleasing. And that affects us as business owners and as entrepreneurs as well, right? The fourth thing that I mentioned is that we take work to bed. So we're taking our phones, we're taking our laptops, our tablets to bed, and then we end up working in our rooms instead of actually getting some rest and shutting our eyes and going to bed. You find that you end up, even though you went to bed at 9, you're still up at 12, still doing some work, which isn't good for you because then you're not getting enough sleep and, you're sleep deprived and you're not able to function properly in the morning or wake up early to be productive as an early riser, right? And then the last thing that I shared with us on Tuesday was that we watch people obsessively, right? So you're obsessive people watching. So you're watching everything on Periscope and you're watching it, reading every article on the internet. And it's good to feed your mind, but if you don't leave time for implementation, then everything you've done is useless, right? So you've gotten all this information, but then you have no time whatsoever in your schedule to implement what you've watched or read or learned. What's the point, right? And that hurts us as entrepreneurs because then we have information overload and not enough time to do what we need to do. Hi, Miss Yoshi. Thanks for coming in. So now the first thing that I want to share with us today, which is number 6. So number 6, we don't have a work-life balance. So one thing ends up suffering. Hi, afternoon. So one thing ends up suffering, right, as entrepreneurs. So either you're suffering on the entrepreneurship side of things, or you're suffering on the mom side of things, or dad, parent side of things, right? Which we need to develop that work-life balance. That's something else that hurts us as entrepreneurs. We don't find a balance. And the one thing that I can say will help you with that is planning everything. We take a lot of things for granted. We think that we can figure everything out or keep everything in our heads and just make it work. No. One thing that I always encourage people to do, write everything down. Even things that have to do with your parenting, put it in your calendar. Oh, I have to pick up my son from school. Write it in the calendar. Or I have to do homework with my child now. Write it in your calendar. When you note everything, it gives you a better idea of everything that you need to do, and it helps you with your productivity. The 7th thing that I have for us today is prioritize. So yes, you have a lot of things that you need to do, but you need to prioritize them. So if you don't have enough time to do everything, what is a pressing thing that you need to do right now, this moment, that will suffer if you don't do it today? Once you're able to prioritize and make note of those things, if you find that you've put a lot of things on your plate, but you need to accomplish certain things, you know which one to put first. And then if you don't have time to do the rest of it, it's okay. You know, you can move on, you can push it into another day or whatever, right? And the world goes on and things are great in the world and you're okay, right? So the eighth thing, that's Tachada, right. The eighth thing that I have for us is procrastination. So a lot of us procrastinate. We're like, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it in an hour, and you end up procrastinating, you end up not doing it. And then you find that maybe a couple of hours before your deadline, or the night before, or the day before, or whatever, you're rushing to get things done, and then you end up putting so much pressure and so much stress on yourself. If you're writing these things down and you're planning them and you're prioritizing, it'll take care of procrastination. Thank you. It'll take care of procrastination, right? Because when you have everything in front of you and you prioritize it and you put deadlines to it, don't procrastinate. When you put a time slot for what you want to do, make sure that you're actually doing it at that time. You're not pushing it off, and that will help you with productivity. And that way also you reduce stress, right? Because what stresses us a lot of times is that we're not balancing things out properly. We're putting too much on our plate. We're not doing things when we're supposed to do it. We overburden ourselves because we don't give ourselves a full picture of what we're supposed to do as entrepreneurs. So once you have that all laid out in front of you and you do things when you write them down to do them, then all's going to go well in the world. I promise you. It's something that I've been doing and it's been working out for me as well. And I find that because I'm writing it down and I'm putting deadlines to them, it's hard for me to procrastinate because I know that today, Thursday, this is what I need to do, right? And when I look at my calendar, I'm like, okay, I need to be on the road by this time. So if I don't do this now, then I'm pushing it into the later part of the day where I need to be focusing on my family time. So that also helps you with procrastination, right? And then the ninth thing, that I have for us is that we allow fear and intimidation to hinder us from being productive, right? And it's unhealthy when you do everything from a place of fear, or you allow everything, your big tasks, to intimidate you, other people that you're watching to intimidate you, and things like that, right? You end up not being productive, and it's very unhealthy, very, very unhealthy, right? So you don't want to stay in a place of fear and intimidation. If you have big tasks to do, one thing that I always recommend is that you break those tasks into smaller actionable plans, right? Smaller actionable steps, I mean. And that way you're not overwhelmed and you're not intimidated by this thing that you have to do now, right? Because you've broken them down and you're making it easier for you to dissolve whatever it is you need to do and get it done. That's right. Fear is another word for poison. Absolutely. It is that detrimental to our productivity as entrepreneurs. And even in life, as women, as parents, as career people, in life generally, fear and intimidation cripples you from being productive in any area of your life. The 10th thing that I have for us is poor communication. So when we communicate poorly, it affects us. It's very unhealthy because you're not coming across to your team properly. You're not asking for the right support. You're not communicating properly with your clients. You're not communicating properly with, your team members or anyone around you, period, right? So that could be very detrimental for you. Okay, the love was kind of getting to me, poor communication can. Sorry about that, guys. So thank you so much for joining us. And just to do another quick recap, my name is Lola. I'm an entrepreneur, confidence and entrepreneur coach. You're watching another episode of the Periscope Circle of Influence. And today, the winner of our scope is Mom's Herbs. So to tell you a little bit about Mom's Herbs, she's a holistic health coach. She gives you tips on herbs that help you, natural remedies, massage, and things like that. So Mom's Herbs, she's on Periscope. If you want to know more about natural remedies and things like that, you want to follow her. So check her out at Mom's Herbs on Periscope, and she's the winner for today. She's the featured scoper. Also on Tuesday, I forgot to mention, we had at Brittany Fisher and we also had at Lola Coker-Esu, but I didn't tell you guys what they do. So very briefly, Brittany is a tech expert. She offers you tech support, hacks and tricks and things like that, the basics of technology. She will help you with that. And Lola Coker-Esu, she's into like natural hair remedies and things like that. So if you want to know how to keep your natural hair healthy, and even just your hair healthy, how to take care of it and things like that, that is what she helps you with. So you can also check her out on Periscope at Lola Coker-Esu. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and congratulations at Mom's Herbs. We thank you. We appreciate you for the tips and all that natural remedy that you've been giving us on the Periscope Fair. Join us again next Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Periscope Circle of Influence, and check out our website, www.periscopecircleofinfluence.com. If you have any questions, inquiries, booking questions, or anything like that, send us an email, contact@periscopecircleofinfluence.com. Also, check us out on our Facebook group. It's bit.ly/Periscope Circle of Influence. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.